Namaste. Good evening. This is Dr. Aparna. I am an Ayurvedic neuropsychotherapist, a passionate Ayurveda, psychotherapy, neuroscience, and Bhagavad-Gita infopreneur. I have voiced my pursuit as global neuro mind Veda. In this pursuit, I discuss various subjects pertaining to Ayurveda, psychology, neuroscience, psychotherapy, and Bhagavad Gita. So, in the previous session, we were discussing on resilience psychology. Resilience psychology, we discussed that as a guide, to bouncing back. See, psychological resilience or resilience psychology is a skill that can be developed over time. See, resilience does not eliminate stress or erase life's difficulties. No. Resilience is what gives people the psychological strength to cope with stress and hardship. So, resilience is the process of being able to adapt well and bounce back quickly in the times of stress. So, this stress may manifest as family or relationship problems, serious health problems, problems in the workplace, or even financial problems financial problems to name a few. So it could be serious health problems, it could be relationship problems, it could be problems in the workplace, professional issues, or even financial problems. So developing resilience can help you cope with it, can help you cope adaptively and bounce back after changes, challenges, setbacks, disappointments, and failures. So basically, it is a survivor mentality. So when people are resilient, they view themselves as survivors, not as victims. So they know that even when things are difficult, they can keep going until they make it through. So in the previous session, we discussed about the pre key components of psychological resilience. That is, the first thing is positive outlook. So maintaining a hopeful perspective even in the face of adversity. So having high emotional intelligence and managing emotions effectively. Next thing is optimism, believing in positive outcomes and expecting the best. So and also it could be like not only being optimistic but being prepared also, no, not only believing in the positive outcomes, being prepared for the negative as well. And self efficacy, so having confidence in one's abilities to cope with challenges and achieve goals. Next is problem solving skills, so being able to identify and address the problems effectively, instead of focusing on the problem, focusing on problem solving. So next is social support, so having strong relationships with others who provide emotional support and encouragement. Next is flexibility, so being adaptable and able to adjust to changing circumstances. The last but not the least is stress management, so developing healthy coping mechanisms to manage stress and anxiety. So how do we cultivate psychological resilience? So psychological resilience is often referred to as grit or mental toughness, so is the ability to bounce back. So how do we do it? By self awareness and mindfulness. So, practicing mindfulness, how? By paying attention to your thoughts, feelings, and sensations without judgment. So, this can help you become more aware of your emotional state and triggers. Identifying your coping mechanisms, so recognize the ways you typically cope with stress and challenges. So basically observing yourself and reflecting on what you do. So some coping mechanism may be healthy while others may be harmful. So next you have to identify your coping mechanisms. Next is learn to manage emotions. So developing techniques to regulate your emotions such as deep breathing, meditation, or journaling, or keeping a habit of all the three. Journaling is the best option, meditation, breathing exercises, pranayama, yoga, all these come in handy. So, and as I said, a person who has a psychological resilience mindset will always have high emotional intelligence. So, if you notice that you tend to, for example, if you notice that you tend to isolate yourself when feeling stressed, so you can work on developing healthier coping mechanisms. So, like spending time with your friends, engaging in a hobby, engaging in journaling, meditation, breathing exercises, or mindfulness practices. Next, the major important thing is to focus on what is within control. So, when faced with a crisis or a problem, it can be easy to get overwhelmed by the things that feel far beyond your control. So, instead of wishing there was some way to go back in time and or change things, it can be helpful to try focusing on what can we directly impact. So what is in our control, and where we can create an impact, or where our focus can create an impact. Next is positive thinking and optimism. So, how do we do that? By challenging negative thoughts. So, when faced with negative thoughts, challenge them with evidence based reasoning. Next is practice gratitude. This is one of the most important things. See, we focus on all the negative aspects that we don't have. But what we need to do is we need to focus on the positive aspects of your life and for what all you have, and express gratitude. Set realistic goals, and by practicing gratitude and expressing gratitude, you attract more positive aspects. Next is setting realistic goals. So breaking down larger goal into smaller achievable steps to boost your confidence and motivation, and stop overwhelming yourself with larger goals or unrealistic goals. So setting realistic goals will really help. So, for example, instead of thinking I will never be able to achieve my goal, try saying I may face challenges, but I can overcome them with my hard work, consistent efforts, and determination. So, like this, you can change or challenge your negative thoughts. Next is building social connections. So this is also the most important thing. So how do we do that? Nurturing relationship. Strengthen your bonds with friends, families, and loved ones. And who you should surround yourself, where you do not have a you do not feel a bad energy. Surround yourself with people who are there to help, support you. Then you can also join social groups, participates in activities or groups that align with your interests. Seek support. So don't hesitate to reach out to others or professionals for help and support when required. So, for example, you can join a book club, sports team, or volunteer into an organization to connect with like-minded people and build a support network. So, next thing is healthy lifestyle. So, prioritizing physical health, prioritizing mental health, prioritizing self-care. So, by engaging in regular physical activity, eating a balanced diet, and getting enough sleep as well. Next major thing is managing stress. So, For that also you can practice mindfulness techniques, relaxation techniques, yoga, tai chi, or muscular progressive muscular relaxation techniques, whatever suits you. Next is limit unhealthy behaviors. So reduce your consumption of all alcohol, drugs, caffeine, etc. So for example, you incorporate regular physical exercise into your routine, such as going for a walk or taking a yoga class or resistance training to reduce stress and improve overall well-being. Next is learning and growth. So continuously learning, so seek out new knowledge and skills, so this can help you feel empowered and capable. Next is embrace your feelings. So view challenges as opportunities for growth and learning. See, all these comes through practice. So resilience, as I said, resilience mindset or psychological resilience is a skill that you develop over a period of time. Next is seeking professional help. If you are struggling to cope with your adversity, stress, please consider seeking therapy or counseling. So, taking in learning and growth, you can take a class for learning a new skill, read books on topics that interest you, or to expand your knowledge and horizons. So, additionally, what you can do is practicing patience. Building resilience takes time, so be patient with yourself as you work to develop this skill. We all are work in progress, so this take resilience takes building resilience always takes time. Next is celebrating small victories. So acknowledge and reward yourself for your progress, however small it is, no matter how small. Celebrate your victories, and then try and find a mentor. Seek guidance from someone who has overcome adversity and can offer you advice and support. So here, all this said and done, while some people tend to be more naturally resilient, it is also a skill that can be strengthened. So looking at situation in more situations in more positive ways, getting support from others, and focusing on what can be controlled are helpful strategies. So good stress management skills can also foster greater resilience. So, by incorporating all these steps, methods, and strategies into your daily life, you can cultivate psychological resilience and better equip yourself to navigate challenges and setbacks. So, there comes to, it brings us to the end of the session today, and I'll be back with another topic in the next session. So, thanks for staying tuned and keep watching. Namaste.